So in 2015, the United Nations released the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And what we need to know as South Africans is that these goals effectively give us direction as to our purpose, our vision, and how we show up in South Africa. We all know when we listen to the news that South Africa is not in a good space. But if we are going to change this country, we really are only going to be stronger together. And really what that means is bringing together like-minded people, but also bringing together people who don't agree with you, because it is in those moments that you grow, that you connect, that you solution, that you figure out, what do I do about what's going on around me? Africans United have partnered with Ziyanda Masiza as a way to bring communities together, to take personal mastery into the lives and into the homes of communities and aspiring leaders who want to make a difference in closing the gap. Inequality, poverty, hunger, climate action, these are not issues that we're going to solve if we're half asleep. We need to raise our level of consciousness as human beings and contribute to the healing of a country that has suffered at the hands of apartheid. We can't keep ignoring and pretending like we're not wounded. We are wounded, but we need to start the process and the journey of personal and self-mastery as a means to show up in the workplace differently, show up at home differently, parent our kids differently. Look at the person who's putting petrol in your car differently and recognize that every single human being has the opportunity to contribute to the results we do want to see in our country.
And the reason why I partnered with Africans United is because we are in the journey of assisting women in particular in South Africa to be much more self-aware and self-mastering in their lives. Why is this important to us? It's important to us because we're raising the level of consciousness so that we can start healing together. We can start having a community of women who are starting to lift each other up as they go up. But more than that, who are starting to influence communities in a conscious way. So what does that mean? We are here to help them get to know themselves, be acquainted with their wounds, but at the same time, disassociate themselves with the wounds and grow and heal so they can heal others. So we cannot heal others if we're not healed. We cannot give off what we don't have. So we are here to help each other self-love so we can love others. We are here to help each other self-care so we can care for others. All we're here to do with Africans United is to raise the bar on consciousness.
And I'm here because I think personal mastery for me is something that somebody has to go through. Every single person needs to do, and I'm doing it.
I want the women of South Africa to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I want women to know that they're worthy, like I'm worthy. I'm good enough. I'm everything that people told me that I'm not. We are going to facilitate a breakthrough.
On a daily basis, I work with women to transform their outside appearances. I work with them to change how they see themselves and how they look like and how they interact with other people on the outside. So now through Africans United, it has given me an opportunity to work with them on their insides so that they can be the best versions of themselves.
So when we become more aware of one another, when we become more conscious, that's when we start making decisions for ourselves that benefit ourselves as individuals and benefiting the next person. Because as encapsulated in the word namaste, when you can say, I see you, that's when you start empathizing and making decisions that benefit yourself and the community around you. And that is the spirit of Ubuntu.
I actually learned that I'm not the only one going through what I am going through. I learned that there is many people out there that is going through much worse than me. And I've also learned that there is actually more support than I actually thought.
My daughter has given me courage today to understand that I'm living her future. And that is enough for me to shape the future of girls and boys.
The reason that I'm here is to inspire my sons to know that they can become good fathers, good dads, and also I want to do the same for humanity, to help young men that are absent to a father, to help them realize that they can be good men and good fathers, and there will be no more violence and no more self-destruction with regard to getting into drugs and getting into alcohol and women just because they search for love from a father.
What I want to walk away with is being empowered with the skills to empower others, to empower my kids, to pass on this knowledge that we're learning here within the self-mastery program, and basically for me to feel unstuck all over again.
I want to shape the future of South Africa by working with kids. Mostly kids who've been abused, kids who've been abandoned, and orphans.
South Africa is struggling with a lot right now. Apart from the economy, apart from the fact that we're dealing with corruption that has been in our environment for a while now, we're going back to teaching people about personal values, about shifting the lenses through which they see their lives. And it starts with truthful, honest, authentic reflections. And we also today witnessed people holding the space for each other and non-judgmental environment where people could be themselves. And we hope that this is going to multiply and we're going to build more communities to touch people's lives. And this is what Africans United and Zianda are doing to start shifting this landscape in South Africa for people to become more aware and more conscious of how they impact other people's lives. And we hope that this journey is going to empower a lot more than these women that we've met today.
The experience today was a reflection of what the World Health Organization has now declared is a disease, burnout. I'm one of those individuals who suffered burnout several years ago, and as a result of that experience, Africans United was born. Having invested a significant amount of money into myself to get myself to a point where I'd not only mastered myself, and it continues to be a journey, but now it's a case of I have more days in joy and love and in happiness and compassion, with my eyes wide open to what is happening around me and in humanity, particularly in South Africa. I was privileged by the experienced divine intervention by meeting a gentleman from the United Nations called Samad Khan, and he introduced me to PDIA, Theory U, systems thinking, systems leadership, and these are just some of the tools that Zianda and I are taking into this personal mastery journey, because what we are seeing is that the success and failure, not only for entrepreneurs and businesses today, is always going to start and end with our ability to master ourselves, our thoughts, how we show up, and to raise our level of consciousness and awareness. Today was really a reflection on so often how, as women and even as men, we tend to self-sabotage ourselves to the point where we're not contributing to the results that we want to see. Theory U talks about the ecological divide, where we wake up every day and we ignore what the South African Weather Service is telling us around climate action. The data and the science is pointing to that ecological divide, where we wake up in the morning and we have long hot baths. We can't continue to keep doing that, but it demonstrates just how unconscious we are. The social divide, we're suffering in South Africa. We have a history and a legacy of apartheid that has left us right to the core of our DNA as wounded souls. We can learn from the rest of the world that it is in this woundedness that the biggest opportunity arises. Colin Coleman, the former CEO of Goldman Sachs, recently published an article around the fact that Africa is the last global frontier for growth. Africa and South Africa right now are on an amazing journey. We have an opportunity to take our thinking and take our thoughts and to innovate our country, to grow our economy. And what Zianda and myself are trying to do with Africans United is to equip men and women, specifically women today, with the tools that they can take into communities, into their homes, into their families, and into the work environments to raise the level of consciousness, bring people closer to the Sustainable Development Goals, and to take a look at what's going on around us, so that we really can come together as a community united, because we really are stronger together. And that's really the core and essence of what Africans United is all about. From applying a growth mindset, to understanding psychocybernetics, to looking at the drama triangle, to working with John Kabat-Zinn's MBSR, and the work that Otto Sharma has done with Theory U. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and what we can see today is that this really does have systemic impact. Africans United, together with Zianda M, We're building a movement, we're building an initiative, we're building a program. We're building a way of thinking that says the way I think doesn't only impact me, it impacts an entire ecosystem, my country, my community, and myself. There are a few South Africans right now who are coming together and who are saying, you know what? It doesn't take a lot of money and it doesn't take a lot of effort to close the gap that exists and that we need to close in order to grow our economy. Africans United is my night job. I've got a day job. You don't need to be a billionaire to contribute to growing this economy. All you need is a heart and a little compassion. So this is a call out to not only South Africans, but to corporate South Africa. Join us on this journey. Invest in Africans United and this partnership that we have with Ziyanda M, because we recognize that we only will be stronger together and that achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, it's not just a risk management conversation. It's a conversation that impacts the youth, it impacts their future, it impacts the amount of joy and love and the experience we have in this life, and we only get one opportunity at it. So if you want to get involved, website details are below. Ziyanda, come on.
Yeah, you know what? Anyone who can add any value into this program will help us reach more lives and reach more communities. So we'll appreciate any help you can give us.
That's really the call out that we're asking for, that this is not just about research and feeding into a global conversation around shaping our future, but this is also saying, this is what we do on the weekends. We're mothers, we're working mothers. So if working mothers can do this for another community, to raise another community and lift up another human being, why not get involved?
Absolutely. Help us heal South Africa.
Because it's only in healing that we're going to thrive.